Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Brief Nerdity podcast. My name is Trent, and I will be your host for the evening or afternoon or whenever you end up listening to this. Joining me, as always, actually from San Francisco, is my good friend Ryan. How you doing?
Hey everybody! And technically, they could watch it on YouTube. It would just be a static image of our logo
Aha!
with audio, but they can still watch it if they wanted to.
Excellent. We're going to forgive Ryan any delays or internet issues, just in case, because he is on dreaded hotel Wi-Fi at the moment.
Yes, out of town on business, but recording for you, my adoring fans, anyways. So
all four of them.
Yep.
I heard the Holiday Inn has good Wi-Fi though.
I think it depends
Actually,
on
Motel
which one.
6.
Ugh.
Not really, but
well, you heard him speak already. Joining us again is our super duper extra special favorite guest, TJ.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Ha!
give me back my house.
Give me that.
Glad you both knew that.
It's good stuff.
Good old Toy Story.
So, how is everybody doing this evening?
I'm a bit tired just from traveling and working off site, but things are good.
Good.
I have not been traveling, and yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good. It's been a while. To quote the band Stained, it's been a while.
I was a little bit of an idiot this morning because Trent and TJ were like, "Oh, what time are we recording? We can record a little bit earlier today because some of our stuff that we normally do on Mondays isn't happening." And then I was just like, "Well, I'm on the West Coast now, so we could record a lot earlier." And no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh boy, that sounds great.
Oh boy. Yeah, if only we were like, in Hawaii or something. As
There you
compared
go.
to Pacific time. But no, unfortunately, it's actually right around the same time as always, so it kind of worked out just like usual.
Yep.
Yes,
So,
it did.
as per the last few weeks, we're going to start off with kind of a little round robin random discussion. This week is name 2 movies that you would love to be adapted into video games. So we often talk about video games that might be made into movies. We're flipping the script. And I'm going to go to TJ first.
Okay, well, I'll give you one of them. I know you guys are having a bit of a hard time thinking of some, so I'll get us started here. I would love to see Escape from New York using the Metal Gear 5 engine, because we all know Snake from Metal Gear was heavily inspired by Snake Plissken from Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
Huh.
And when I was playing Metal Gear 5 with like the open world elements and stuff, I just kept imagining like, post-apocalyptic New York City, and you're Snake Plissken, and you glide in on that glider, and then you have your missions and stuff like that. I just think it would work very, very well.
That's pretty awesome. I like
Very
it.
nice.
Yes.
Do you have one, Ryan, or should I go next?
Yeah. The Demi Moore Patrick Swayze movie Ghost. I really want to relive that pottery scene.
When you said Demi Moore, I thought you were going to go with the other famous one that she's known for. What's it called? Wasn't it like Striptease or something?
Yes. I think so. There's
Anyway.
also that military one she's in.
Oh, G.I. Jane.
So-
that would actually possibly be a good movie.
So wait, so your
game.
Ghost video game, would it just be a mini game of that pottery scene? Like, would it be on Wii or Wii U and you use like the motion controls?
It would be
Or-
mostly quick time events.
It'd be a good VR game though.
Oh, there you go.
It's going to reboot the Kinect, is what it's going to do. The new Kinect VR.
I'd buy it.
I guess in all seriousness, I know it's kind of a cheat, I guess, because a couple of games have been made, but I would like to see a modern make of like a Terminator 2 video game. We've already talked about like Radar movies and Terminator 2 and stuff like that. And there were like Super NES and Game Boy Terminator 2 games back in the day when it came out, but there really hasn't been any modern Terminator games made, or at least any good ones. And so I think maybe like just a revisit of, the first 2 Terminator movies, or gameplay, I think would be quite awesome.
Well, they are bringing Terminator 2 back into theaters this summer in 3D.
Oh yeah,
That's
Yeah.
true. Every time I think of Terminator video games, I always think of the classic arcade game with the two guns and
Yep.
shoot
Yeah.
all the Terminators, and it's impossible to win, I think. But
I had the Game Boy version of that. It was terrible.
You sure you're not confusing that with Revolution X, the Aerosmith game where you shoot CDs out of your gun?
maybe you're right. Maybe that is what I'm thinking of deep down. It's my secret shame.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you said Terminator 2, Ryan, because it's not only one of my favorite movies of all time, but it has my favorite movie scene of all time, which is the dirt bike, truck, motorcycle chase scene.
That is
Nice.
I've
pretty
seen
good.
that. I've watched that well over probably 100 times in my life, and it just never gets old to me. I love that scene so much. So being able to play that, even better.
Yep.
Nice.
It'd be
So-
awesome.
I feel kind of bad going with another action movie because I feel like I'm copping out. But seeing the preview for this recently has made me kind of think about how much fun a game would be for it. I was thinking the Kingsman movie would make
Oh,
a really fun game.
Oh, good choice.
yes,
because-
I love that movie.
I'm picturing it'd be kind of like GoldenEye or like Perfect Dark, but with like adult sensibilities and adult humor, just like the movie had. I think that'd be really fun.
That would. And not to go into a little tangent here, but it was either last week or the week before you guys talked about your first R-rated movie experiences. Kingsman was not mine, but interesting story I have about it. That's the first movie I ever went to in the theater not knowing the rating of it. I saw the trailers and I assumed like, oh, okay, it's Matthew Vaughn, like, it'll just be a fun like spy action movie. And it's one of like the goriest, most vulgar like spy movies, especially that I've ever seen, and I was just totally caught off guard. I was like, if I had kids, I probably would have brought them to this thinking it would be okay. So
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, I'll always remember that movie for that reason, but I do love that movie.
Have you seen the trailer for the next one?
Oh yeah, so happy they're making another one.
It looks so good. We're gonna talk about this later, but during the Guardians of the Galaxy like preview section, it was just like I was just like movie that I'm stoked for after movie that I'm stoked for is like over and over, and it was like Kingsman, Star Wars, and Thor, and all these just like over and over. It's gonna be a great year.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm very excited.
It's already
All right.
started off super well.
I know, right? So, do we want to do another round and each give another movie?
Well, I do have one more.
Go for it.
Now, you're going to think I'm joking, but just hear me out here. I've had this idea for a long time. I would love to see Mrs. Doubtfire adapted into a game using the Heavy Rain engine.
All right.
Okay.
That'd be pretty cool.
Just imagine your kids are being taken away from you from your horrible woman of a wife, the worst mother in movie history, in my opinion.
Don't
And,
you kill Sally Field.
Oh, I love Sally Field, but she's like the worst in Mrs. Doubtfire. That's a whole nother topic. Let's save that for another show.
That's fine.
She's the
But
worst
just
Aunt
the-
May ever, too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. She was not the best Aunt May.
There's only been 2 of them so far.
No, 3.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
She hasn't appeared in a Spider-Man movie yet.
Touche.
Not
Oh,
that that
well, yeah.
matters, I guess, but
True. But no, I think Mrs. Doubtfire, I mean, like the quick time events, kind of like what you were saying with Ghost, just quick time event to put your face in the cake. And, and, if you screw it up, that lady walks in and she sees, oh, you're the kid's father dressed as an old woman that's been babysitting them on a weekly basis.
And a
Game
deep
over.
dialogue system to convince your brother to make you another mask.
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yep, see? The possibilities are endless.
I'm only going for this if they borrow the Paragon Renegade system from Mass Effect.
Explain. I'm not familiar.
Oh, that's right, you haven't played them. I thought that would get a laugh out of Ryan at least. But no, it's just kind of like the super good decisions versus super bad decisions. Like, you're either like the paragon of niceness and virtue, or you're the dick that punches people. So,
Well, that would definitely work very well for Mrs. Doubtfire.
heck yeah, like the
definitely.
run by fruiting scene.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to aim. Like in the Walking Dead Telltale games, you have that split second to aim that crosshair.
It was a run by fruiting. Oh, I love that movie.
But seriously, though, she's a horrible mother.
All right. Ryan, number 2.
Okay, I legitimately had another one, but it is slipping my mind at the moment. But I saw a World of Warcraft movie last year. I think that would be good.
No.
No.
More jokes.
Boo.
All right.
Boo.
Like all the movies I could think of, like I go through my favorite movies, like Star Wars. You have tons of video games there. In Jurassic Park, a Telltale game. Back to the Future, another Telltale game. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, look, another Telltale game. So Telltale has the market covered on like my favorite movie franchises right now. But if I could think of another one, it would be The Land Before Time, but
Oh my gosh.
a cartoony platform, like kind of like the Ukulele Banjo-Kazooie type, or Donkey Kong 64, where you can switch between the different Kongs, but this one you can switch between the different Land Before Time characters.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Like Pichu could fly and stuff,
How
Sarah
many
could ram walls.
How many sequels does that movie have? Doesn't that have like a ridiculous amount?
I think it's like 11 or 12 at this point.
Yeah, I lost count on some of it.
Somewhere on there.
So.
They stopped numbering them as they were wont to do, and so it's harder to. Not that any of us are trying to keep track of the Land Before Time movies, but
well, I'd buy
love
it
that movie with the kid.
There's an interesting random tangent question. How many of those have you guys seen? I've only seen 2.
I only saw the first 2.
Yeah, I think I've only seen the first 2 also.
Yeah, well, there you go. We're all the same.
Even as a
That was a boring topic. I apologize.
I've seen 2. How about you? I've seen 2.
I've also seen 2. Aren't they
This
amazing?
is great.
I love
Entertainment.
All right, well,
Entertainment.
I love
gonna
the
start-
little T-Rex.
We're gonna start a movie club of the week, and we're gonna watch all the Land Before Time sequels now. So,
Oh, nope.
as punishment,
I'm sorry. I quit. it's not happening.
I'm gonna start my own podcast with blackjack and hookers.
Oh man, is the podcast breaking up already?
We only made it 22 episodes.
And the split has happened. It was a good run.
Well, Trent, do you have one more idea?
I'm stalling because I'm trying to think of a good second one. I've had some ideas that are kind of cheaty, but it's not really. Like, I would love for some of my favorite franchises that are related to movies to make another good game, like Star Trek. I think deserves a good AAA game, which hasn't happened in a good long while. But let me think. Has Fast and the Furious been made into a game yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's a Fast and the Furious arcade game, there's a console game, and I think there's Fast and the Furious DLC for some of the racing games too.
Dang.
But none of them are about family. That's where they got it wrong.
Well, that is what the movies are all about, even though the family changes rather drastically between movies. I love how. So I recently, this is going to be a topic for later, but I'll just jump into it now. I recently caught myself up on the Fast and Furious franchise, so I watched 5, 6, and 7. I'm planning on going to see 8 in theaters here soon. And it's really funny that like he gives this big family talk in 5, and then 2 of the characters we literally never see again. And there's one throwaway line about how they disappeared at some casino and were never seen again. And I was like, oh, that's sad. His family bonds run real deep, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something in the 8th movie that made me question, like, well, wait a second, what about that guy that died? Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, the whole family thing is really starting to fall apart here.
What are you talking about? Paul Walker or?
Oh, no, one of the characters that was killed
Oh.
in the movies. No, not Paul Walker. I could see
okay.
why you thought that, though. But no, a character dies in one of the other movies, and then it's just like that never happened. Like, no one talks about it or thinks about it or cares about it. So,
Are you talking about Han?
yes.
They deal with that in 7 pretty heavily.
But there's something in 8 that happens that makes you think
Oh.
more about that. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, TJ.
Well, I will. Does Wonder Woman come back? Because that would make me really happy if she showed
No.
back up
she
again.
comes back as Wonder Woman.
See, that's my headcanon. I told Ryan the other day that is my headcanon for real. She was really Wonder Woman in disguise, and she just like had a little brief stint as like a car criminal for a while.
Well, those movies are basically superhero movies.
And then she had to fake her death. What? It's totally realistic to jump a sports car between 3 different skyscrapers. What are you talking about? It actually it was a surprisingly cool scene, no matter how cheesy it was. I was like, this is, I can't even be mad about it. Like, it's so well done.
But they're just such fun movies. I love them.
It's so ridiculous,
They really are.
but for some reason they sell it every time. It's amazing.
They do. If you just shut your brain off and watch them, like, you gotta love them. You really do. They get a lot of hate from people, but can't take them too seriously.
While we're on the topic, what'd you think of the D-Box Fast 8?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. So Ryan suggested on, I think, one of the podcasts, actually, to see it in D-Box. He said he was going, he saw 7 in D-Box. So my wife and I, we had no idea there was a D-Box within driving distance in where we live. And we went, and it was a very, very good time. That movie, like, those movies are perfect for that. Like, that's what they're made for. So if you have the chance, if anyone's listening and they have the chance to go to D-Box, I mean, make sure you pick a movie that makes sense to have moving seats. Don't see, like, Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, the first movie I saw in D-Box was Sherlock Holmes 2, and that was very underwhelming to see in D-Box. And then the second movie was Fast 7, and then I saw Star Wars Episode 7 in D-Box, which was just okay as well. Well, it was only cool, like, during the X-Wing scene and stuff.
So have you seen Manchester by the Sea?
No, I have not.
Darn. I was going to ask you how it was.
Well, it's pretty action-oriented, so, you know, those D-Box seats. Yeah.
I think the new Guardians, I mean, we'll talk about the new Guardians a little later in the show, but I think that would be pretty good for D-Box.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah. But all right.
Yeah, I keep trying to think of a good... I'll just go with Star Trek deserves another, like, good AAA game, is what I'll say. Because it's been.
But what about that co-op third-person shooter that was out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3?
I honestly don't know of what you speak.
Was it the 2009 game or was it the Into Darkness game?
I think it was the Into Darkness game.
Yeah, it was a Gears of War style third-person shooter.
Yeah,
I remember that now. Yeah, I didn't play it. I didn't have console at the time. But in my opinion, the last really good Star Trek video game was Bridge Commander, and that was a while ago. So
you like Star Trek Online though, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess it's just so different than what I would consider. Star Trek Online is fun. But yeah. But anyway, moving on away from our roundtable discussion, let's talk about the news out of HBO, I believe, right? They're all on HBO. Is developing 4 spin-off series, 4. Not as many as Avatar, but still 4 spin-offs for Game of Thrones.
Not just as many as Avatar, technically.
That's a lot of spin-offs.
Shut up.
So yeah, TJ's right. 4 is quite a lot.
Let us think you should drunk I am.
Is what I'm hoping is happening is that they're maybe like developing 4 pilots and then they'll pick one to like that's the best and kind of go with that. Because I really don't want like 4 simultaneous Game of Thrones shows because I think that'll get old very fast.
Yeah. Unless they're just completely different in style and flavor, but I don't know how you do that with the universe being what it is.
Yeah. Maybe like Better Call Saul. Their plan right now is to make one a 30-minute comedy, and then it'll just turn into Game of Thrones prequel.
Well, all you got to do is have what's his name? The fat Night's Watch guy.
Sam Wise.
Have him like his plucky adventure as a scholar at that giant library thing, and be a family comedy between him and what's her name,
and his dad that's trying to steal his sword again. It turns like a Roadrunner cartoon.
Exactly, it'd be perfect. But no, the reason I'm curious about it is because it talks about there's a quote in here of the HBO statement that says, I had it. It's gone. So they're basically talking about how the David Benioff and Dan Weiss, who are the showrunners of Game of Thrones, had said that they weren't going to be involved with anything post season 7, and post the end of Game of Thrones, but that they're actually maybe attached to these new shows as like kind of high-level producers. But the way that they said shows plural made me think that it's not just like 4 pilots pick the best one. So
We'll see.
who knows? Hopefully they won't put them all out at the exact same time.
I hope they all air at the exact same time.
So what do you guys think of the idea of us just backing off of the number? I mean, just Game of Thrones spinoff in general. Do you like the idea of like franchises being beaten to death, or do you think that it's good because you take what works and you make more of it?
Well, I'm a pretty big Game of Thrones fan. I've read all the books, and basically George R. R. Martin wrote an encyclopedia of Westeros history, so to speak. And I haven't read it, but I've spent a lot of time in the Song of Ice and Fire wiki page, like just reading about all the history. The history is super, super deep, and there's so many good stories to tell within the history. Even ones that are familiar to audiences, like Robert's Rebellion and all that, would be a very interesting story. So they could get very close to being it to death, but the fact they're ending Game of Thrones when it's time to end it, so to speak, gives me a lot of faith that it's not just trying to beat a dead horse and make good stories. That is obviously profitable for HBO, but still good stories nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, spinoffs have an interesting track record. I mean, we've seen them go incredibly right, and we've seen them turn out incredibly horrible. Like Better Call Saul, for example. Like, I'm in the middle of watching Breaking Bad. I've never seen it. I only have about 3 episodes left. But now that I've seen that, I consistently watch Better Call Saul. Like, since Better Call Saul started, I've watched it every week. And I could see, if I was a Breaking Bad fan, when they announced the spinoff of Better Call Saul, like going like, oh, really? I mean, are they really going to be able to recreate that magic? But they did it, and it's great. On the flip side, you look at like The Walking Dead and the Fear the Walking Dead, and I don't know if you guys watch Fear the Walking Dead, but just from what I've seen of it, I really didn't care for it. It seems like most people don't care for it nearly as much as they do The Walking Dead. So yeah, I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah, I don't quit shows very often, but I noped out of there around in the middle of season 2.
Fear the Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I noped out of The Walking Dead in general. So.
I wish I would. I need to, but I'm such a big fan of the comic. I'm like a masochist. I want to see like how bad the show butchers it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, these could turn out good, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, part of the quote that actually kind of makes me feel good is, we'll take as much or as little time as the writers need, and as with all developments, we will evaluate what we have when the scripts are in. So HBO's been doing a pretty good job lately. I can't think of any like huge flops. I mean, they've had some shows that maybe fizzled a little bit, but
yeah, BioWare said they wouldn't release Mass Effect Andromeda until EA pulled it from their cold dead fingers, or it was completely ready.
Yeah, is HBO owned by anyone that would do something like that?
Time Warner, I think, owns HBO, but don't know how much hands-on they take with it. I think Time Warner. I think it's Time Warner. Someone owns HBO.
I feel like EA is a little bit of a different animal.
I know.
Yeah. And see, Ryan, I know you made the point, like, there's the whole like history, that George R. R. Martin has written, but then again, you look at like the Hobbit movies, and it's like they had all that history, and it's like, I don't know what you guys thought of those, but I didn't hate them, but just compared to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, and I think even regardless of what I said earlier, I want Game of Thrones to take a break, so to speak. But it's not. Obviously they're in production now, and we still have another year and a half or so until Game of Thrones is completely over. So, but like I said, we'll see. If it's great. If it's bad, then oh well, we won't watch it, and the greatness of the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones will live on forever.
You mean to tell me that when something bad comes out, it doesn't completely ruin the stuff that was good in the first place?
I hate when people say that. I mean, I really, really did not enjoy the new Ghostbusters movie. Like, I wouldn't say I hate it, but it was really bad in my opinion. But it does not affect my love for the first 2 movies. Yes, I include the second one in there too.
Now, see,
Ghostbusters
that's
2
something
is amazing.
I don't understand the hate for Ghostbusters 2. Like, growing up, Ghostbusters 1 and 2 were basically one movie to me, just like one long movie. Like, I even thinking back and like quoting it and stuff, I would confuse like what I was quoting because I watched both of them equally.
Yeah.
And then, like, as I got older, and especially like with the Ghostbusters reboot and stuff coming out, a lot of that hate for Ghostbusters 2 started coming out, and it just like blows my mind. I never knew that people didn't like that movie.
I am on the exact same page as you, my friend.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Same here.
So I
Even
don't know.
Bill Murray despises Ghostbusters 2. He thinks it's an
What?
abomination.
Makes no sense to me.
No, I mean, it's got Janusz.
It might
And
be
they make the Statue of Liberty dance.
they control it with an NES advantage.
That they do.
I don't love.
The old man eating toaster trick.
And Vigo.
Vigo! Yeah.
He is Vigo.
They're finally making a Janusz action figure, too. So
No way.
I'm
Nice.
pretty excited for that.
Is it one of those like tiny ones with the big heads, or
No, it's like an actual like action figure, like recreation of him. So
nice?
yeah.
Like the creepy ghost version with the glowy eyes, or a normal version?
Ooh, I don't know. If it had an interchangeable head with like the glowing eyes, that'd be sweet.
Because I was when Ryan and I played through a lot of the early Old Republic MMO together, the Sith warriors got an ability that like made their eyes kind of glow out, and I'm like, he looked like Janusz from Ghostbusters too. And I
It's
kept
seriously like
every-
the exact same effects that's used in the movie. So
Every
like
time I
anytime
see it,
it was a passive ability, and so it
Right.
just pops up, and my eyes are just like that for the next like 30 seconds or so, whether or not we're in battle or not.
so every time he did it, I was like, I am Vigo.
And did the Sith in that game also have an unlockable ability where you could turn into a ghost granny with a baby carriage and fly through the air?
Yes,
I think that's part of a DLC package.
with the extendable arm included.
Okay, good. I'm glad they got that right.
Okay,
Hey, look at that. Ghostbusters 2 is fun.
it is really fun.
For those that
Sure.
don't like it, you can cram it up your jam hole.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty much.
Those are fighting words right there.
It was also the first movie I remember seeing in theaters. If you guys remember that callback.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah,
there you go.
I did not
Maybe
remember
that's
that.
why I like it.
I think one of the reasons I actually liked 2 better as a kid was because Ghostbusters 1 was a little bit scarier in parts. Like there's some scary parts in 2, but like the library scene always scared the crap out of me as a kid
Oh, yeah.
from number 1. And then in number 2, the train tunnel scene is pretty freaky, but yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, there's plenty of great moments.
The Titanic just arrived.
Better late than never. See? We could just let's just pull up the script for Ghostbusters 2 and just do the whole movie right here, right now.
I don't even know if we would need the script. I bet I could get a freaking lot of it.
I call Sigourney Weaver's character.
I'm Oscar.
Oh, of course you could do
Oscar!
the movie. Oscar.
Oscar!
Named him after a hot dog.
Actually, you're Oscar and Bill Murray. I'll be Egon. I had half a slinky.
You didn't have any toys as a kid? I mean,
I
you
had
didn't
half
even
a
have a slinky?
I had half a slinky, and I straightened it. All right, we need to escape from this tangent. It is getting deeper and deeper. So the next item that we're going to be talking about is Lego Goonies. Apparently.
Yes. So this is just a quick topic. Tomorrow, Lego Dimensions is releasing some more packs, and one of them is the story pack for the Goonies. If you don't know what Lego Dimensions is, it's Toys for Life series where you buy like Lego minifigures and little sets that you can build, and then you can put those into the game. But the cool thing about Lego Dimensions is it takes franchises from like tons of pop culture and just combines them into one game. So you could play as like Marty McFly with the Ghostbusters, like the old ones and the new ones. And like Knight Riders in there. You could play as, Kit and stuff. And tomorrow they're releasing a story pack for The Goonies, which is my favorite movie of all time. And I love Lego, so I will have a Lego Sloth minifigure and I will get to replay the movie in Lego form. I can't wait.
That's so awesome. I love the Goonies so much. It is also one of my favorite movies. Not the favorite, but one of my favorites. And it actually came into my mind when we were asking the original round robin question, but I saw on our agenda that the Lego game was coming out, so didn't really want to. And they had Goonies 2 for the NES. So
Oh yeah, which made absolutely no sense at all. That game's impossible.
Yeah, pretty much. And I know it's a lot more known now, but I remember. I'm sure you maybe. I know you could probably relate to Jay. I don't know about you, Trent, but at one point when I saw the Goonies, I saw the octopus scene.
Yep.
And then the rest of the VHS copies I saw from like there on out, like never had that scene. And like I'd tell my friends about like this octopus scene, and they're like, "No, you're just talking about when he says the octopus in the movie." I'm like, "No, I remember a scene where the octopus attacks him," and like nobody believed me. It became like so bad that like I thought like. Obviously I was a little kid. I don't know this term, but I thought it was like gaslighting. They were like, "Wait, was there really a scene?" Like,
well, I think
am I crazy?
You're thinking of the Mandela effect, where people remember something like from a movie or really remember something about anything, and it never really happened. The Mandela effect refers to when a group of people or when tons of people remember something for the way it is, and it wasn't like that. But yeah, you remember that because when they would play the Goonies on TV, depending on the time slot it had, they would take some of the deleted scenes and put them back into the movie, the octopus scene being one of them.
Yeah,
so you probably saw it on TV.
That might have been it then, but everyone thought I was crazy, but I wasn't.
Well, interesting about the Goonies. Well, I guess this isn't really interesting to anyone but me. The Goonies DVD was the first DVD that I ever bought. I actually bought that movie when it came out on DVD before I even owned a DVD player. I was that excited for it. And yeah, on the DVD, it has a ton of great bonus features, including all of the deleted scenes. And that was one of the first movies I can remember where it was a movie that I knew like the back of my hand. And then to see more scenes that I've never seen before just completely blew my mind.
Yeah, I felt the same way when they finally released the Star Wars original trilogy on Blu-ray, because none of the DVD releases had the original trilogy's deleted scenes.
Oh, that's right.
But the Blu-ray finally did, and so I definitely feel you there too. It was just amazing to finally see those scenes, like Luke constructing his lightsaber and Luke hanging out with his friend Biggs and a few other people who call him Sky Guy for some reason.
So yeah, well that's my Goonies talk for the show.
I've never actually seen it before.
Really?
What? Really?
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, that's
I
sad.
don't know why. It's just one of those things that just passed me by, I guess.
Makes me sad too, because I don't know if as an adult you would like it as much as like TJ and I like watching it growing up. I'm sure you would enjoy it, but probably not to the same extent.
Yeah, I don't think you would hate it, but you'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, well, that was fun," and then that's it. Maybe move on. Probably never want to watch it again.
Probably something like that. I
mourn for you.
It's one of those kids movies that from the '80s that was rated PG that has a crazy amount of swearing in it, like from the kids. They swear quite a bit in that movie.
I didn't realize I watched as an adult, like a lot of sexual innuendo too.
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
Well, if kids say the swear words, it doesn't count, right? Isn't that how it works?
That's how South Park works.
That's okay. I will not be sad about the Goonies for very long, because I had 2 awesome new trailers drop this week that I am super stoked for, and I'm sure you guys have both seen them. I've got the Defenders trailer and the final Wonder Woman trailer. I'm so excited.
So the Defenders trailer, I was very excited for, and don't hate me, but the final Wonder Woman trailer kind of anti-sold it for me.
What? Why?
I don't know. Just it seemed too much, I guess.
Like what do you mean? They showed too much, or
no? Definitely not like story-wise, but too much of like the action set pieces and like all the slow-mo scenes. Like I don't know. I feel like the movie's either going to be have way too much slow-mo, or they've shown us like all the cool slow-mo shots in the trailer already, and it feels like the movie's going to be kind of all over the place narratively, from what I could gather from the trailers.
Do either of you know how long it is? Has the runtime been released yet?
I'm not sure.
I do not know.
Because I mean, if it's like over 2 hours, then
2 hours 55 minutes apparently.
Yeah.
Almost
Wow.
3 hours,
that
according
can't be
to.
right.
That's what it says in Google. Google is never wrong.
That's gonna be. See, I don't know. Like that.
I-
that
that-
Because
I
they're
don't
already
think
selling
that's right.
tickets. They're already selling tickets, so the movie theaters would have to know how long the runtime is.
oh yeah, no, I believe you for the runtime. I'm just saying that now makes me even more nervous. So,
Maybe that's. Hang on.
How could that be longer than like Batman v Superman?
Yeah,
well,
something.
people say the uncut version of Batman v Superman is better, so maybe DC's this time like, well, we'll just release the full 3-hour version this time for
Okay,
Wonder
so
Woman.
IMDb is saying 2 hours 21 minutes.
Okay, I'd probably trust IMDb more.
Yeah, because I don't know where Google pulled that from. It's just the thing that pops up when it tries to answer your question for you at the top, you know?
Yeah. I can attest to that Batman v Superman, though. It is a better movie. I don't think the extra
Wait, it's a
half
better
hour
movie than
would
what?
push it. I don't think it would push anyone over the edge that didn't like the original. But if you enjoyed it and wanted more out of it and more explanations, that extra half hour really does make a difference.
He means that the extra extended cut is better than the original movie.
Yeah.
Batman v Superman.
Gotcha.
Same with Watchmen. The Watchmen director's cut was much better than
Oh, I love Watchmen.
its theatrical cut.
Yeah, Watchmen's okay. Sorry.
Fight.
No, we're sticking with Wonder Woman. I gotta feel like there's more. I mean, the trailers so far have made up what, like 7 minutes worth of, video of a 2.5 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's got to be. I mean, there's the resolution of all the fights we've seen her start and not finish. There's probably entire fights we haven't seen. Not to mention, we know. I don't know if you guys care about casting / story spoilers. Do we want to say this or no?
I say if it's known casting, it's fine.
Okay. So we know that Ares is the main bad guy in this, and we haven't seen him at all yet.
We've seen him in Lego form.
Yes, we have.
Lego sets are notorious for spoiling movie content.
I'm pretty sure he's the evil general guy we've seen in the trailers a bunch.
See, I don't think so.
Really?
I think he's the guy that. Well, I don't know if we should speculate or not, but I think he's the Harry Potter guy, Lupin, who's like, who is this young woman?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I
think
wonder.
it's Chris Pine.
Because I think it'd be too easy to have it be the German. I think because basically the idea that I'm guessing from knowing that he's in the movie as the God of War, blah blah blah, is that World War I is basically his doing, and that he's wanting to make it go forever and just like endless war until everyone's dead type thing, based on Chris Pine's line from the most recent trailer.
Huh.
And I think it'd be much more interesting to have him be like, someone from the Allies side.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I definitely agree. I just knowing the character Ares, he basically becomes more powerful the more war is happening, and so I don't think he necessarily wants to wipe everyone out. So I might be advocating your theory here. He doesn't want to actually wipe anybody out. He just wants to keep people fighting and keep people hating each other. Because the more people that are at war, the more powerful he gets. So
endless war.
Yeah, I could see that.
So a lot of people obviously are saying the action scene where she's deflecting the lightning is him, but obviously because we don't know who's sending it at her. But it's definitely probably not Dr. Poison. But
yeah. And kind of just circle back around again. It's like the shots like that, like all of her like super awesome glory shots. Like I said, it feels like the trailer like has all of them.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I could see that. I mean, if you want to talk about trailers showing, too much, especially, I mean, look at the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. I feel like that shows you just every single beat of the movie.
Or the
Pretty
Batman
much.
v Superman movie.
Yeah. Like,
well,
there's a trend where everyone, in my opinion, is taking their final trailer just one step too far.
Huh. See, I heard some. There's a Beyond the Trailer YouTube channel that I follow pretty regularly, and she thought that they actually didn't quite show enough money moments. That a lot of the action scenes were just different angles of action scenes we'd already seen in previous trailers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, how many times have we seen her knock out the support beam
Yeah.
with her
true.
sword? Like,
Well, what's your guys' opinions of trailers overall? Like, do you think a movie should have multiple trailers, or do you think there should just be one, like, solid trailer to show it off? What do you think?
I don't mind. I like trailers in general. They make. I love seeing previews before movies. I love getting a piece of, like the tease or whatever that it is. It gets me excited. I think maybe like, a couple of teasers and one full trailer or two full trailers is probably enough for
Mhm.
most movies. I don't know if you need, like, how many does Wonder Woman have? Like 3?
I think 3, yeah, and then some TV spots too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about trailers because I'm completely guilty of watching any movie I'm interested in. I'll watch whatever trailers they release. But then on the other end, I'll say like, oh, I wish there was only one trailer or I wish I didn't know that going into it. Because the worst part is when you go into a movie that you're excited for and you remember the trailer and you're like over halfway through the movie and you're like, well, I haven't seen this part yet.
Right.
Or you're towards the very end of the movie and it's like, well, I still haven't seen them here yet, and then it kind of ruins it for you.
Or a character, quote unquote, dies in the movie, but then you remember the trailer. There's still more scenes of that character you haven't seen yet. You're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, I'll be honest, that actually happened. I don't know if we want to jump ahead to our Guardians of the Galaxy talk quite yet, but there were some scenes from that movie where I was like, well, that hasn't happened yet. So there's definitely not anything bad happening quite yet.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer when that happens. I don't know if you guys, well, Trent, I don't think you really like horror movies, but that movie Quarantine, it was like an English like remake of a Spanish horror movie. In the trailer, they show the final scene of the movie, like the final shot is in the trailer. I can't think of any other movies that I've seen that happen with.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Well, so before we jump on to other stuff, what did you guys think of the Defenders trailer?
I loved it. I thought it hit all the right beats, and it got me very Avenger feeling. At least bringing together all these franchises into one mega blockbuster, so to speak. So I got very excited when I saw it. I haven't even seen Iron Fist yet, but I'm still excited for this.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Definitely got me hyped up. The only thing I worry about is I got about halfway through Luke Cage and I watched like the first 3 episodes of Iron Fist. I really don't want to finish either of those, so I just hope I don't have to in order to get it. But
I'm sure there's a review or something somewhere you can watch or read
yeah,
to catch you up on it.
yeah. But no, just like Ryan said, the fact that now all of them are together, like an Avengers scale on, like a TV show. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, there's important story bits at the end of Luke Cage that set up where he is going to start out that you may not understand, and there's actually a really, it's not huge, but there's an important, you learn a lot about the hand in Iron Fist,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn more specifically about the resurrection chamber thing and how it works,
Oh, okay.
which is going to come into play obviously in the Defenders.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just be asking you about it then.
Well, there you go. That'd be fun. We should watch them all together over voice chat. That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe.
Anywho, let's see. Let's do the Thrawn novel first, and then we'll talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, I'll just be brief with it. For those who don't know, they released a novel around the time of Star Wars Celebration a few weeks ago. That was the Thrawn novel. It was written by Timothy Zahn, the actual quote-unquote father of the EU.
Timothy Thrawn?
Yeah. Timothy Thrawn.
Just his biography.
Yep. And so he wrote the original Thrawn trilogy, which were the first new Star Wars content since the original trilogy, and so he kind of kicked off the EU, and so they
created a ton of like iconic EU characters.
Totally. So they brought Thrawn in with his blessing into Rebels season 3, and also they Lucasfilm commissioned him to write a Thrawn novel. So I'll be spoiler free, just quick impressions. I really enjoyed it. It's probably in my top 3 new canon Star Wars novels at this point. It goes, I mean, TJ kind of joked that was Timothy Zahn's biography, but even though it's not, it's kind of a Thrawn biography. You get a good bit of knowledge about Thrawn's life, both pre-Empire and during his time with the Empire. And it even hints to some possible Star Wars stories we're going to get in the future, because he mentions he's interacted with some characters that we know and love from the Star Wars universe.
What?
But yeah, he mentions it kind of in passing as a past event, and so I'm sure it's going to pop up in either like a novel or a comic at some point. But
Crap!
don't
Now
know.
I have to go read this book immediately.
You do need to, because I guess the only spoiler I'm going to give is that it ends almost literally right before his appearance in season 3. Like it kind of ends with Governor Price saying, "Hey, I need some help with some rebels on Lothal," and Thrawn's like, "Okay."
Nice.
You know, so
it's an interesting shift, and I'm curious how the difference of the timeline affects him, because he was actually originally a post Return of the Jedi villain.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have him as between 3 and 4, kind of as like the birth of the Empire.
I would dare say, with me knowing the character really well from the old Legends canon and the new current canon, he's, in my opinion, a significantly better character now than he was then. His emotions, his motivations, I guess I would better say, are much clearer. Well, I wouldn't even say clearer. I think they're just better, more fitting to the character than they were before. And it leaves so much mystery that are still yet to be solved, and things that I think are going to be highly connected to episode 8 and 9. I think there's some breadcrumbs laying with Thrawn's character and the basic plot of this book that is foreshadowing to episode 8 and 9, which also makes it very exciting. So
nice. It makes sense that he'd be better in this iteration. I mean, the authors had 2.5 decades to think about how he would change him if he had the chance. So that's pretty cool.
I think the best part is that a lot of it is in first person.
Oh wow! Okay.
So you get into his head and you see him do his calculations and analyses and stuff at some moments, and so it is like the beginning of every chapter starts off with maybe a page worth or a few paragraphs worth of just basically Thrawn doing his own version of the Art of War.
Oh, nice.
And so it's really well done. The only weakness I would say the book really has is that the book is kind of half and half him and Governor Price, where Governor Price's sections aren't as interesting. It's definitely not bad. It's just not as interesting. It would be a Price chapter, and I'd be like, it's okay. And then be a Thrawn chapter, and be like, ooh, So
that's I'm like 3 or 4 chapters into Aftermath, but I might have to switch and just come back to Aftermath later. Because nothing really big has happened yet in Aftermath, so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's overall really good. I liked it. The
Very
end.
cool. Any thoughts, TJ? I know you're not a huge expanded universe guy.
Really? You noticed? No, I have nothing against it. Yeah, it's just I've never really dove too deep into any of the lore and stuff. I find it to be very interesting, but yeah, I never read any of the expanded universe novels or anything. But that's cool, though, that there's official stuff now. Now, this Thrawn character, I don't know if it's possible, but is there any possible way that he could show up in any of the new movies? Or
he's
time
not,
for him not really let
he's
that
not
happen?
dead yet.
He could. I mean, as of this point in the canon, the new canon, he's not dead yet. In the old canon, he is assassinated. Spoiler for a 30-year-old book. He is assassinated by his own bodyguard at the end of the third book that he's in, and so I think that's 5 years after the Return of the Jedi is when that book takes place, and so he dies there, but he hasn't he hasn't made it that far. The latest he's been in canon is the Star Wars Rebels season 3 episode, after which, spoilers, he's not dead yet in that
Right. It's
season.
like what, a year before episode 4.
Yeah,
So,
1 or 2 years before episode 4, he's still alive.
yeah, and we don't know how long exactly the Chiss live in this iteration, so it's possible he's still alive. I would love if he showed up randomly in episode 8. I would lose my shiz.
Me too.
Well, you never know.
I know. It's very exciting. All right. So let's get into some Guardians of the Galaxy talk. For anyone who hasn't seen it, we're going to talk spoilers. That's why we kept it till the end. So if you would like to stay spoiler-free for Guardians of the Galaxy, we bid you adieu.
But go see it. It's really good.
Amazing.
It is really, really good. Go see it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think one of my favorite, or I think the best Marvel villain so far, in my opinion, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Loki. But the villain in this, I think rivals. Oh well, yeah. Yes, we are doing spoilers.
Well, I did give a warning, so.
Yeah, no, you did. You did. In all fairness, yeah, Ego is like a really, really cool villain, and he takes a turn at some point during the movie, and it's like, oh wow, he's really intimidating right now.
And just extremely callous. Like, you realize how much of what he's doing is just a complete act. And
yeah,
it's fascinating.
And in a weird way, it's almost not an act. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess he is kind of acting, but to him, it's just like, it's nothing. Like, this is what needs to be done. It's expected. So
true, and maybe not so much an act as it just like he definitely uses emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
As an affectation to get his way.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, TJ. People have always joked that Marvel has had really, really crappy villains. Even though the movies are good, the villains have pretty much always been crappy, with Loki being the only exception. But
yeah,
it's only because Tom Hiddleston does his character so well, but Loki's never really threatening, so to speak. But yeah, in this movie, not only was Jeff Bridges' character, a really,
Jeff
really
Bridges.
good. Did I get that wrong?
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell. Yeah, I don't know. I was totally thinking freaking Thrawn too. My bad.
How dare you?
My bad. I'm an idiot. All right.
Oh no, I mean,
it's not completely wrong.
Yeah.
This is the guy's name.
It's just the totally wrong person. That's all.
I'm just kidding.
The planet abides, man.
No, I was caught off guard because I love Kurt Russell so much. He's one of my favorites. So.
Well, he's both Kurt Russell and, for a brief second, he's freaking hey, what is his name? David Hasselhoff. That was so funny.
But yeah, Kurt Russell's character just does such a good job of being extremely threatening and just a very, very well done villain. So I'm glad Marvel.
And he's really likable too. That's what was so great about Loki. You really liked him, and Ego he's the same. It's hard to hate him.
It's a true story.
It's funny.
I don't know. Oh, go on, Ryan.
I was gonna say, as soon as we knew that he was cast as Ego, I knew the Ego, the Living Planet from the comic lore, and I was like, really, Marvel, are you gonna try to do Ego, the Living Planet in a Marvel movie? But then I was like, because I'm like, man, that is one of the weirder things in the Marvel lore. But then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, you know what? They made a movie with a talking raccoon tree, and everybody loved it. So I'm sure they'll pull off Ego, Living Planet, and they did pull it off super well.
It was so good.
Now, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry. Well, I was going to say, did you guys feel the same way I did in the opening scene where it's like the flashback of how like Ego and Peter Quill's mom were together back in the 70s? His face, the younger Kurt Russell, looked really, really good. I mean, in most of the Marvel movies, that special effect, it does look good, like they did in Ant-Man with Michael Douglas. And it looks good, but you are thinking oh, this is CG. But in this one, I was like, wow, this really looks like a young Kurt Russell. Did you guys notice anything different with that compared to the other movies, or was it just me?
I did. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I did, and there was a post on Reddit about it that this guy at Disney wanted to try out a new lighting technique on the actor. Yep. So you know about all that then?
Oh yeah, that's actually what I was going to get into, but by all means, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, well, what I saw, Kurt Russell, he said in an interview that most of that was makeup. He said digitally they did touch up a little bit, but he talked about how it was mainly makeup. He's had the same makeup guy for 26 years, and then he contributed it to that and the lighting, like you were saying. And he said, he's like, I'm telling you, it really wasn't touched up that much because I took pictures of myself and I sent them to my wife and kids, his wife being Goldie Hawn. He's like, I sent them to them to show them how unbelievable it looked. And yeah, I mean, clearly it made a difference instead of going all CG.
That's pretty cool because I remember looking at it and being like, oh great, they're doing the old actor as a young guy. It's gonna look terrible. And they show his face. I was like, wow, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely makes a difference. Because what other Marvel movies did that? It was Ant-Man, and then they did it in Civil War with the younger Tony Stark, right?
Yep, I think those have been the only ones so far.
Yeah, I thought there was one other one. But
well, they
whatever.
did to Jeff Bridges and Tron.
And Tron, yeah.
You mean Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm sure we're going to start talking about a lot of our favorite parts of the movie, and I don't know if this is necessarily my favorite part, but it's something that really, really stood out to me in the movie. Peter Quill and Gamora were having the argument. We're like, no, he's my dad, he's awesome, and stuff like that. And she's like, something's not right. I thought in my mind, like, oh, they're going to do the cliche where he's going to kind of start, where Peter Quill's going to kind of start doing bad stuff, and they're going to have to, like, get rid of the brainwashing him, turn him back to the light side, or stuff like that. But I love that the moment that Kurt Russell said, when I had to put that cancer in your mom's brain, Peter just immediately snaps out of it, pulls out his guns, and starts blasting the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Like, no hesitation.
Oh, good.
Like, I nearly teared up at that part. Just, it was, I mean, even at that point, they could have gone a little bit cliche where he's like, what? You did what? How could you do that, kind of thing, but they didn't. He just like bloop, his eyes were back normal, he pulled out his guns and just noped out of there.
Did not even want an explanation, didn't even give him the chance.
Like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it again right now, just because of how well done that scene was, in my opinion.
Did you tear up a little bit when they played catch with each other?
No, that was corny as hell.
Yeah, that was.
I think that was intentionally corny, though.
Yeah, probably, but it crossed the bridge over to cringy territory for me.
Yeah, that's the one scene that pulled me out of the movie a little bit. I was like, oh,
really?
They made a reference where they're playing catch, and oh, look, they're playing catch with their energy ball.
Yeah, I saw it opening night, and that got a big reaction.
Really?
From the crowd.
Laughter?
Yeah, the crowd loved it.
Huh.
So yeah, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. I knew it was intentionally.
It was sweet. And like I liked it from a character level. If I'd been reading a book, it would have been really great. But it didn't quite translate for me anyway on the screen because I was like, oh, great, they're gonna start playing catch now because that's symmetry to the comment from earlier and blah blah blah.
But I just think Peter Quill being like as goofy as he is, like I just think it fits that character so well. Like I don't think that would work in any of the other Marvel movies with any of the other characters. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind it. One thing I absolutely love, though, were the opening credits. Probably some of my favorite opening credits in any movie ever.
Pretty much. Like, yeah, I don't know how I could beat that for opening credits.
Baby Groot dancing and dodging the fight while everyone else is like... Because I thought that was going to be like a huge moment. Because like all the trailers will show this giant beast showing up, and then most of the fight is taking place in the background of the credit scene with Baby Groot dancing.
It's in the background and it's blurry. Like all that work that they put into that, and you're not even looking at any of it.
I wonder if they told them ahead of time and be like, by the way, that whole scene you just worked on? Yeah, it's all behind the scenes for the credit scene.
Yeah,
no, I'm sure they knew. And then they after the credits were over, they gave us a few minutes of the fight still
yeah,
to
that's true.
Finish it up. But my favorite part of the whole thing was when Gamora's like, Groot, what are you doing? You gotta get back or something like that. And then he waves her and she goes, hi.
I know, it was such a it was perfect. She's like, because she just, and you could tell she did that so well too. She's all worried, but then she kind of like melts at how cute he is. She's like, hi.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I love it. Because that's what I would do. I'd be so distracted because it's adorable.
Yep.
I assumed going into it that they were going to overuse Baby Groot, but I feel like they used him like the perfect amount.
I agree. I
So funny.
I agree on all fronts. Like I was worried, like okay, Disney, they have a gold mine to like their own minion, so to speak, on their hands with Baby Groot reaching viral level cuteness, and hopefully they don't overdo it, and they totally didn't. And even at the end of the movie, when they showed one of the after the credit scenes, with teenage Groot, which was amazing.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard.
With his voice changing and everything. Oh,
Yeah.
it was so good. And his hair, his like branches hair kind of pushed over to the side.
Groot.
Yeah. This is an amazing scene, but I was also like, okay, good. They're not going to continue with just Baby Groot for the rest of the franchise,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys had heard the tiny spoiler for Infinity Wars that Vin Diesel tweeted out.
No, but I would like to.
He tweeted out that Groot and Thor are gonna fight.
Really?
Not Thor. Hulk.
Oh, huh.
They're gonna have a fight.
Groot's gonna have a bad time.
Do you guys feel like they're gonna be able to like successfully pull that movie off?
I don't know. It's gonna be so rough.
Is it? It's not gonna be. Is it still 2 parts?
Yeah, but they're not advertising it as like part 1 and part 2. They're almost advertising them as separate movies now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Miss Marvel, I think, is going to be in between them, so it's not even going to be like they're going to be back to back. Like I think Thanos is basically going to win in number 3, and then they're going to go back for round 2 in number 4. A year later, both in real world and in canon.
Yeah. I don't know.
But see, it makes you wonder though, like how could they end a movie that's bringing all of these characters together? How could they end that on a downer? Like, how could they have them lose at the end? It's like you're finally seeing all these characters fighting together. Like, just imagine if they did that in Avengers. Like, if they lost at the end.
Yeah, like I don't know how they're going to do it, but...
Well, it might be a situation where they think they've won or something like that. So
oh, yeah, they could pull it off that way.
It's kind of a resolution, but Thanos really got what he wanted after all.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah. I just worry because at that point it's going to be so many characters, and as much as I loved Avengers 1, I thought Avengers 2 was already getting bloated.
Well, what do you think of Civil War?
Civil War was pretty much only that one scene.
I thought Civil War was fantastic,
and it was a great battle scene, but do they do the whole movie with that? Do the Guardians of the Galaxy just pop in for one scene and fight and then disappear again? Or
I think what's likely to because it's the same showrunners as Civil War, so I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of different. Yeah, whatever. I think it's going to be a lot of different kind of disparate threads that kind of go on a collision course, and then there's going to be one big scene at the end where everyone kind of has something to do, just like in Civil War. Because I think if they do, if they try to fit everyone in as much as possible, but there's something like 30 some characters that they could show at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they split everyone off, kind of like in Guardians 2, how Guardians 1, they were together most of the time, but in Guardians 2, everyone really had their own time to shine. That's one of the things I really liked about it. Everyone had their moment. And so I wonder if now they just figure all these characters have been like pretty well established. We can take a few of them and have them go off here and then cut to the other group over here and and show what they're doing. So I wonder if maybe they'll go that route and then just have one big brawl like towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Speaking of individual moments to shine, I think my favorite part of the movie was I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
That was my favorite joke for sure.
I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Star-Lord just looking at him and chuckling. You look like Mary Poppins right now.
Is he cool? Yeah, he's so cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I think one of my funniest part was when Rocket was making fun of Taserface and be like, I bet you just woke up and looked yourself in the mirror one day and thought, you know what would be a cool name? Taserface.
Taserface.
Yeah,
that was a good scene too. Like when he tells the Sovereign Lady, like, tell them the name of the man who brought their demise, Taserface, and she just starts laughing at him.
And then he
Oh.
dies.
Yes, that was good.
Yep.
Now, what did you guys think about? Because there were the 5 post-credit scenes. Some being more impactful than others. But what did you guys think about the fact that they didn't really do anything to tie it into the Infinity War? Like, I
kind of
couldn't believe there
expected
was
that.
no Thanos like mention or anything.
I could believe that because I think the majority of that's going to be saved for Thor Ragnarok.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you notice that Jeff Goldblum was in this movie?
In the credits, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a tiny tie-in to Thor. I think Thor is probably the most likely one now to actually interact with the Guardians at this point in his next movie.
yeah, I think so too because we already know he's going to be interacting with Doctor Strange and Hulk out in space. So,
And Thor 3 definitely has a very, like, people definitely noted that it has a very Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it. Like with the spaceships and the planets and the aliens and everything.
Oh yeah. That whole almost like 80s like retro vibe.
And speaking of good villains, this is kind of getting off topic of Guardians, but I am really excited for Hela.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
She
she
looks
looks great.
She looks incredible. And like just that Bamf moment of catching Mjolnir and like shattering it, I was like, oh yes. I'm hoping she could be like another really amazing villainess for Marvel.
and she was always my favorite Thor villain from the comics too. So even more than Loki.
Doesn't she like date Thanos in the comics? Like,
Not
isn't she
that I
like the
remember.
goddess of death and they fall in love?
Oh no, that's a different character.
Oh.
Death is her own character and not her.
Ah. Never mind. Sorry, comics fans.
And also, fun fact, that's kind of a. I don't think they're going to ever go that direction. Well, they might. They might in Avengers 3, but in the very first Avengers movie, when that guy says to Thanos, to challenge them is to court death.
Yeah.
So, depends.
Yeah, comic references.
Well, haven't they said that Phase 4 is going to be totally different than any of the previous phases? Aren't they kind of implying that they're going to kind of get away from everything they've done so far?
I think they kind of have to because all the contracts for the big players are up at that point.
Expensive also.
And everything has been culminating to the fight with Thanos, and nothing else is really building except for that, so to speak, besides little hints and teases like the Adam Warlock one at the end of Guardians.
Well, that's another interesting one. Adam Warlock has a tie to the Infinity War and the Spirit Stone, I think.
Oh yeah, totally.
I was reading about him. So he might not even be a post-Infinity War thing. He might be a part of Infinity War itself.
Yeah. Well, they did confirm that Adam Warlock is not in the first or in Infinity War in that first movie. They said, but he could play a big role in the second one though.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and now I'm really excited for the Ms. Marvel movie, but one thing, like, I enjoyed Doctor Strange, but one thing I really felt was missing was now we're kind of getting used to seeing multiple like heroes together on screen. And when you go back to having that single hero, especially with like the origin story, it kind of feels a little empty, feels like it's missing something at this point. That's why I'm so happy to see Thor with Hulk in it. I really feel like the Marvel movies going forward should kind of have that, where it's not just about one hero anymore. Like, you do have the other ones, like Spider-Man's doing it. It looks like Iron Man plays a major role. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Trent.
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about Spider-Man and Iron Man's involvement in it because I'm worried it's going to be too much. Because Robert Downey Jr. can't help but steal a movie, like from just his performance.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time, like, is Spider-Man actually going to be able to hold his own and really make it his movie? And I'm hoping that they do it well.
Well, I just think more so from a story sense, where it's like now that we know all these villains exist in the same universe, whenever you see a movie, like Doctor Strange, it's like all this stuff is going down. Where is anybody else right now?
Yeah, well, someone made the comment about Guardians of the Galaxy when this, big giant alien thing starts erupting in Missouri. Like, where are the Avengers? But I, I don't know. People
Yeah,
try to explain it away. Is it like it takes place at the same time as Civil War, so they were busy?
but I think they kind of get away with it in Guardians too because they don't really show it that much. They don't really spend too much time showing that destruction on Earth.
True,
So I mean, I
and
guess
it
that's
takes
their
place
way
so
of getting around
quickly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. I don't know if I've just kind of gotten used to it, especially with the like New York, Defenders people. Um, and I kind of run into this a little bit with some of the games that I play. Like in trying to create like a story that is, multi-part and where all these different heroes exist. You just got to assume that they're doing something else. Like there's just so many threats in the world, and they're just busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Ryan?
To kind of counter your point first, Trent. Um, if I can
My
remember what it was before
my
I
my,
just
my,
blinked on it.
my point, the one that I brought up about where the Avengers for the big blob thing, or
Uh, yeah, I don't know whether
what
I
was
had
the
a point.
Spider-Man's thing and Iron Man?
The Spider-Man Iron Man thing. Thank you. Sorry,
Okay.
I had it while you were talking, but then I blinked on it. But thank you for pointing me back in the direction. I think one of the purposes of the Spider-Man movie is going to be him outshining Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark, because I think it's what the trailer's kind of shown already. It's Tony Stark's like, oh no, you just do your little thing and let the big boys work, sort of thing. And so I really think that Spider-Man's going to come out and be the hero and beat out Tony Stark in his heroism, or I think Tony Stark is going to be the damsel in distress at some point.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's a good thought.
That'd be kind of cool.
so that's kind of my theory on that. And
Well,
so
and my worry for that was kind of dual-sided. One was the story of like can Spider-Man and Iron Man in the same story. The other thing was like Tom Holland versus Robert Downey Jr. in terms of their performance.
we'll think of the fight in Civil War. Who stole that whole show besides Ant-Man?
That's true. It was definitely Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You guys remember that really, really old movie with on the ice planet with the walkers?
It's funny. Tom Holland later said that he still hasn't seen the original Star Wars trilogy. He's only seen the prequels. But so
he's only
to bring
20,
it all
it's
back
okay.
to your point, Jay, I'm actually kind of in agreement with you. I thought that Doctor Strange was one of the more weaker entries the past few years for Marvel
Mhm.
movies. I know it's kind of a controversial opinion. Most people love that movie, and I did like it. It's just it felt very, very, very Marvel formulaic to me, and so that kind of translated for it to be a little boring for
Yeah.
me. But that might have been alleviated if there was another Marvel character involved. I don't know how, and I don't even know if that would help it. But
Well, I think with Doctor Strange in particular, like visually, that movie is stunning. I think a lot of the
yeah,
people that have very fond memories of it and really enjoy it because of the visuals.
Because they
I
were
think
high.
Doctor Strange will make an unbelievable secondary character. I think in Thor, whatever he does in Thor, he's probably going to steal those scenes. But I think on his own, though, just being like the main protagonist, yeah, it wasn't really doing it for me.
yeah. So obviously, Guardians 2 was great, and Thor is looking great, and at
Yeah.
least Ant-Man had his scene with the Falcon.
Yeah,
But
I feel like they almost felt like they had to make Doctor Strange not for him, but just to introduce that whole idea of magic and everything into the rest of this universe. And it's
yeah,
like, oh, well,
totally.
Doctor Strange, like, we'll tell the story of magic and stuff through his character. And then he's just kind of going to be around for the rest of the universe. So,
Yeah. I can't put my finger completely on what it was. I mean, I love Doctor Strange. He's one of my favorite characters in like, all of comics because I always like the guy who does magic. It's just one of my things. Um,
like David Blaine.
no, like the magic characters like Gandalf,
Oh,
Dumbledore.
no, I know.
Um,
I'm being an idiot.
it's okay. But like I don't know if he was just a little bit too similar in his story development as like kind of like a Tony Stark, a rich, arrogant, white guy who has his problem solved by doing this thing and going on this hero's journey.
Don't forget the goatee.
with the goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people just didn't really get what it was supposed to be either. Like it was very much like the visuals were such a huge part of it. And it was really trying to pay homage to just the crazy art style of the comics, and he's a weird hero, and he has weird stories, and he has really weird enemies. Like he's just a really strange part of the Marvel universe. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Well,
You're
like I said, I think he's gonna make a great secondary character.
Yeah.
In the movie universe. I know he, is a great standalone character in the comics and stuff, but
Yeah. I think it'd be fun to watch a movie with him where they don't have to tell the origin story.
yeah, I think so too.
So I would be okay with seeing another standalone from him, maybe with another random character thrown in there or something. Or like maybe he gets an apprentice or something, someone that's somewhat famous. I don't know who that would be, but so is there anything else about Guardians you guys wanted to touch on?
I wouldn't say touch on, but I kind of want to say that I think it might be my favorite Marvel movie ever.
Wow.
Oh wow. Huh.
Wow. That's big.
Because how many Marvel movies are there now? Like 15, I think.
Something like that.
It's
yeah.
like 14 or 15.
Previously it was Avengers, and it still might be. I guess I kind of have to wait for it to digest, maybe a few more viewings. But the first Avengers was just such a milestone, just in movies in general, and then it was really, really enjoyable itself. Yeah. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I found myself enjoying every single minute of it. And I felt the whole range of emotions. I was laughing so hard at several moments. Like I said, the moment where Peter snaps out of it and starts shooting is super impactful. And then, shedding a tear for Yondu, who thought we'd be shedding a tear for Yondu, but
yeah, so, and that's the exact thought I had while I was like crying from like his really, really good send-off scene. I was like, how am I crying for Yondu right now?
Yeah. So
yeah, what a turnaround for a character. Seriously.
I just felt such a wide range of powerful emotions, something that not even Avengers quite did, and so it may be my favorite Marvel movie.
See, what I've been telling a lot of people that have asked me my thoughts on it is that I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was more fun. Like I think there's a lot of moments that I like, seeing Groot take out an entire group of people, or like Rocket kamikazing the ship into the the big enemy ship or whatever. I felt like the first one felt more like just a random crazy space adventure with like a raccoon and a giant tree, and it was just crazy, and I didn't know what was going on. I felt like this one was way more emotionally impactful, just on every level. Yeah. I cared about all the stories for like they had such good development for everyone. Like I loved it's just even tiny little things like when I always forget people's names. The new girl that can sense people's emotions. Mantis. Loved her so much, and like that moment where she touches Drax for the first time and feels the pain and like just the grief that he carries with him at all times, and she just starts crying. Mm-hmm. And you look at Drax and you think that he's like this big, like unfeeling crazy person. And I was like, that was such a powerful moment to me, and there was no line from it. Like it was just the way they showed it was amazing.
Yeah.
In like Rocket's development and realizing how much like Yondu he was and how he's pushing people away because he is afraid of getting close. Just like literally everyone had a great arc. Gamora, her sister, like all of it. I wasn't upset by anything. It was so good.
So yeah, well, even with Rocket, you have to remember. I mean, he was close with Groot, and he lost Groot.
Yeah,
because Baby Groot is not the same Groot. It's a brand new character. So yeah, I mean, even him feeling that loss too. Yeah, so. It was very good. I'd have to really sit back and like go through all the Marvel movies and try and rank my top 3. But yeah, this one's definitely high up on the list. That's for sure.
Yeah, going back and thinking about it. I think I might have to agree now that I hadn't compared it to any of the other ones yet, but thinking about it right now, it is just really really good.
Yep, it's either going to be number one or number two for me, because just to the original Avengers. So,
Yeah,
but we shall see after
Yep.
time.
indeed. Another interesting thing, it had just kind of random money stuff for their Friday to Saturday drop was in ticket sales was the smallest of almost any Marvel movie I think that they've done yet.
Oh yeah.
It had like a really strong because like the pre-sales were not doing as well and everyone was really really scared for it. But then Saturday did so well over like way above expectations because normally the Marvel movies drop hugely after Friday, but apparently Guardians of the Galaxy is a huge family movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I went to the Thursday night like 7:30 showing, and it was by far the most kids I've seen at the opening of a Marvel movie. I mean, obviously kids love the Marvel movies, but the fact that parents were taking their kids out to see the first showing of it
Yeah.
really says a lot.
There were a lot of penis jokes.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
thing. It's like there's such adult humor, but I mean, you look at it. I mean, there's Groot and Rocket, and it is definitely, probably the most kid relatable or kid friendly of all the Marvel titles.
yeah, and there was a lot of swearing. I guess I kind of contradict myself because I mean earlier, we were talking about how Goonies had so much swearing in it, and it's like I grew up with that, but I don't know if it's maybe because like I'm an adult now, but yeah, some of the swearing and stuff in the movie, I was like, oh, was that really necessary? The whole
Yes.
penis thing, I'm like, I feel like they could have kind of written around that. They could have just implied that without actually saying it as many times as they did.
That's made it funny because Drax is just very blunt.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I feel like I could keep going and talking about other parts of the movie that I thought were really incredible. Um, I was kind of hoping just from like my own like fanboy perspective that Star Lord would keep some of the light somehow and maybe like I don't know gain like little baby celestial powers or something.
Oh yeah, yeah, but no, he lost all of it, right?
Yeah, and I think in the end that was the right decision because I mean like
Hmm.
he literally did, in that it just immediately in that moment gave it all up because of his love for his mom. Um, but it's weird to think of just I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that there's this being that like he shares DNA with this thing and also shares like the ability to channel this power and suddenly like it's just all gone. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, not to beat a dead horse. I don't want to stay on Guardians forever, but I think one thing we have to mention: the Zune at the end, the
Oh my
Microsoft Zune
gosh.
that he got with the songs on it.
Oh my gosh.
As as a previous Zune owner, I do not understand the flack that the Zune gets from people. Like it is the butt of every music player joke, and I never understood that.
Also, as a Zune owner, I agree. When it was just the Zune versus the iPod, the Zune
Yeah.
was vastly superior in every way.
Yeah, the Zune, I correct me if I'm wrong, I think Microsoft was the first to offer a music service where you can download unlimited music. Like
Yep.
you pay the monthly subscription. And the thing is you could actually download it. So even like, when Spotify and stuff came around, like you couldn't download any of that, you had to stream it. But on the Zune, you could download and not be connected to the internet and still play all that music.
Yep. Anything in the Zune
Yep.
library could do that.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
Yeah, I never understood that. It is always the joke. You will hear people make jokes about the Zune so much, and I never understood where that came from.
it had
I'll
a
be honest.
better
I haven't.
OS, a better interface. Sorry, Trent. Go ahead.
That's okay. I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't heard a Zune referenced in quite a while, let alone jokes for them. But they definitely were the butt of the joke for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they were kind of discussing uh, kind of the economic model and the ethics of it, and that our economy doesn't really like the best does not win out. Like the abject best product does not win. It's the most popular product wins.
Yeah, that's
That
a good
is
point.
so weirdly defined, and you would think that the best one would win, just because like people would be able to decide, like, oh, obviously this product is superior, everyone buy it. But for some reason, Apple figured out some kind of, like, if it was just like advertising or like just their kind of ethos or whatever it was, like they found the secret sauce and made people buy their product instead.
Well, good example. I mean, look at the iPod Shuffle. When the iPod Shuffle came out, there were other MP3 players and stuff that had a screen, can hold a lot more, but everyone flocked towards the Shuffle. And it
I
was
never
so basic.
I never understood the shuffle. I was like, how does this thing even work? Like, how do you know what song you're gonna play next?
Yeah, it was, but like you said, it was popularity. It was the Apple branding, and yeah, people
Yeah,
just flocked to it. It was so weird.
excellent. So before we get off too much on a Zune Apple iPod tangent,
Well, this is the Brief Nerdity podcast, okay?
that's right, we're living up to our name. Let's kind of finish up. I think we're about an hour and a half ish. Let's kind of talk about what everybody's been playing, what everybody's been watching lately. I myself have been going back to Civ 6. There's been a few updates since it came out. There's some new leaders. They've put in some scenarios that you can play in single player, which I think are fun, and multiplayer. And I've been watching shows and binging stuff while playing Civ. It's been super fun. What do
Cool.
you guys been up to?
Ryan, go ahead.
Haven't had much time to play some games. Been playing dabbling in Massive multiplayer, and so sorry, Trent. We're about to go into some ukulele talk because
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm about 80% through ukulele right now. I've completely 100%ed the first 4 worlds, but haven't entered the 5th world yet. The game got very mediocre reviews, and I'm loving the crap out of it.
Wow. Well, I
Like,
mean, I'm happy to hear that.
I know, like I was gonna talk about this, like how gleeful I am. Like I was running around the casino level, the supposed worst level from what most people say, and I was like, I am loving this, and I'm happy I'm loving it, and I don't care what anybody says. I like this game. So I don't know, like it was very cathartic to feel that regardless of other people on average giving the game, mediocre reviews, that I would still give it a solid 8.5, 9 because
Wow.
I'm really enjoying it so far still. I mean, like I said, I have about 20% of the game left to go, but it's not as good as Banjo-Kazooie and maybe not as good as Banjo-Tooie, even though you don't really like that one, TJ, but
Mhm.
it's better than Donkey Kong 64. And um, I haven't played a game like ukulele or Banjo-Kazooie in 20 years ish. How long has it been now? I mean, not that long, but 15 years. And so, like, I am happy to be playing a game like that. I'm happy to try to track down every Quill and Pagey in the game. And the game isn't too big or too cryptic to where I haven't had to use a guide yet, and I've been able to 100% the first 4 worlds. And so I think
Yeah,
the game is.
Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, once again, I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed it. I wish I enjoyed it as much as you are, because I was very excited for it. I got it, played through like the bare minimum, just enough, to unlock the final boss, beat it, and I'll be honest with you, like I got rid of it. I hope to maybe revisit it one day, because they are releasing updates and improving some of the things. I don't know if they'll necessarily be able to fix the things that I didn't like about it, but I would love to give the game a second shot if they do some pretty substantial updates on it.
So I don't want to spend too much time on it since we're obviously very short on time here
Yeah.
towards the end. But what were some of the things you didn't like, so to speak?
No, that's a good question. One thing we talked about before, Banjo-Kazooie is one of my favorite games of all time. I thought the size of those worlds was perfect, and then Banjo-Tooie, I never was able to get through it after multiple attempts because I thought those worlds were too big and felt too empty. Ukulele is kind of right in the middle because the worlds start off a certain size, and then you can expand them into even bigger worlds and unlock more stuff. And I don't know, I got that feeling of emptiness again. And I felt like I was doing a lot of like fetch quests and just very basic like side quests and things like that to unlock the pages. I don't know, just overall it did not give me that same feeling that Banjo did. I feel like the game was trying too hard to be just like it instead of going, "Hey, let's take the things that people love about Banjo-Kazooie and, add some newer things to it." I mean, I get the idea that they wanted to keep it feeling like a retro, 3D platformer, but that doesn't mean that they can't update it at all. Like, for example, this might sound like I'm nitpicking, but to check your collection status in every world, you have to pause the game, scroll down, go to a menu, and then scroll over to the levels just to see what you've collected in that world so far.
Yeah,
Once
it was a little bit weird to do that.
yeah, like I mean, something as simple as every time you collect like a quill, like why doesn't it just flash in the corner like you have, 67 out of 100? Just something to give you an idea, because I felt like I was constantly going into those menus to check my status. And once again, that's not a game breaker, but it's just a simple thing that they could have fixed that would have made a difference.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
I agree.
Trent agrees.
But yeah, no, like I said, I hope to revisit it one day. There is content that's like in the game that technically isn't in the game. Like it shows up in the menus, but you can't access it because it's not actually in the game yet. It's coming out in an update. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I haven't yet, no.
The tonics that you can get that unlock abilities?
Yeah.
There's the retro tonic that makes the game look like it's 64 bits, and that's a tonic in there, but there's no way to get it yet.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, they didn't finish it. They didn't have time to finish it, so they said it's coming in a later update.
Oh, dang. I was
So.
looking forward to that.
But I'm glad you love it, though. I really am. I hope you love it all the way through.
Also, I'm a sucker for puns, and there's lots of them. So,
Yeah, that there are.
all right, that's all I've been playing lately.
Good
Yeah.
deal. And then just kind of touching on TV stuff. I myself am on the home stretch of Gilmore Girls, finally. I've got like 7 episodes left of the main show and then the Netflix episode, so I'm excited to finally. This season is rough, so I'm really glad that I've got Civ 6 to play at the same time, because I'm just like, must get to the end and move on to something else.
Well, from what I know about Gilmore Girls, like most people don't like that final season, do they? Because it's not the same writer and stuff, right?
Right. All the main showrunners and everything were fired or quit or something for the last season. It definitely has a different tone, and there's a lot of interesting decisions. I'm just like, wow, what happened? So
Yeah.
but a lot of it's still the same, because like the actors, their comedy is still amazing, and so like it's still a really good show. But I'm excited to see, getting to the Netflix stuff and see the end of where it is currently anyway.
Yeah, well, I know my wife is a huge Gilmore Girls fan, and she loved the Netflix revival. So
Nice. I'm excited.
yeah.
Excellent. So
We
other
didn't
than that,
ask
I've just.
TJ. We didn't ask
Huh?
TJ what he's playing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I know we're kind of pressed for time, anyways. It's no big deal.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, okay. Well, it might surprise you guys, but I've been playing a lot of Switch, so I know that's not really.
You don't
know.
say.
Yeah. No, but on PS4, I started Little Nightmares. I was really excited for that game. I bought the collector's edition that comes with like the figurine and stuff. But yeah, I started that today, actually. Played a little bit of it. It's really cool. If you played Limbo or Inside, it feels very similar to those, just almost a 3D version of it.
Nice.
But yeah, so I can't say if I recommend it just yet. I haven't played enough, but from what I played so far, I really liked. But yeah, on Switch, I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Love Mario Kart 8. It was one of my favorite Wii U games. All the stuff they added to the Switch version is great. The online works. They finally have a good battle mode in it. A lot of fun. Puyo Puyo Tetris. If you like Puyo Puyo or Tetris, definitely worth picking up. That's also on PS4. Really cool blend of both of those puzzle games. You can play just one of them if you want to, or there's a lot of other modes where you can actually swap between both of them. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and then
Puyo is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, right?
Yeah, I think that it wasn't nearly as popular in the U.S. as it was overseas. But yeah, the American version that most people would probably know, if they've ever heard of it at all, was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, and then finally, there's a downloadable game on Switch, and I think it's on PC. Might be coming to PS4 and Xbox as well. It's called Tumbleseed. Very hard game to describe. You kind of have to see it. It's a 2D game where you play as a seed, and you're kind of like balancing the seed going up a mountain, like avoiding like enemies and obstacles. It is one of the hardest games I think I've ever played in my life.
Really?
The controls are very weird because you're balancing the seed, so like, and you use the left and right stick to balance like both sides of this platform that it's on. But the game, everything in the game just works against you, and it's a roguelike game, so every time you play, it's a different layout and stuff. But just look up some videos of it. But I'm telling you, it's got to be one of the hardest games I've ever played.
And I'm looking at the Steam trailer right now. It looks really interesting and kind of weird.
Yeah, it's cool, but I mean, you could seriously die, like get a game over within like 3 seconds of starting. It's crazy. So,
Yeah,
but it's cool. It's still holding my interest, so I guess that's a good thing.
Well, good. That sounds like fun. I'm excited.
So
I think I'm gonna get my next Switch purchase is definitely gonna be the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I'm excited to play that one again. So
yeah, it's definitely worth it. Even if you owned it on Wii U, if you really liked it on Wii, if you played it a lot, just the fact that now it's portable, you could take it anywhere. It looks beautiful on the handheld screen. Yeah, it's Mario Kart. I played every single Mario Kart. I think it's hands down the best Mario Kart they've ever made. So
better than Double Dash.
Yes, better. I did love Double Dash, but yeah,
I did too. I thought it was fun.
I'm one of the people who thinks Double Dash is one of the weakest entries in the series, but that's just
well, it's arguably still one of the weakest, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. And not to get off on a tangent, because I know once again we're pressed for time, but the fact that Mario Kart 8 is like breaking Mario Kart sales records, it's a re-release of a game on a brand new console that's only been out a few months, and it's already like selling in gangbusters. I can't believe that.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a really good game. I enjoyed my ex that I lived with had it on Wii U, and we played it a ton. And I'm definitely wanting to get it again. So
yeah, if you played it a lot and you liked it, definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the battle mode. I didn't even know it had that.
Yeah, it's a traditional battle mode. They added some new modes too that have never been. One mode has never been in a Mario Kart game, and yeah, they're all a lot of fun.
Sweet. Alrighty, so finishing up on TV again. Aside from Gilmore Girls, I just got all my reality shows that I'm watching at the moment. And The Challenge has one more episode, so that's almost done. And the other ones are all the same stuff, but I'm enjoying them, and I can't wait for some of my shows to finish so I can start catching up on everything. So, what are you guys watching?
Pretty much all the same stuff for me too. Nothing. Trying to pretty much caught up on the CW verse right now. Getting caught up on Gotham as well, which is also DC. But I would say the thing I'm wondering right now, just kind of going back to Guardians, is if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to reference the giant blob that occurred.
Oh, maybe.
It would be like Thor, where they're like cleaning up and be like, "Man, that was crazy when that happened, right? Okay, let's move on with what we were doing." So.
Yeah, it'll probably get a random reference, if anything at all.
But yeah, nothing else new for me.
Cool.
Well, the problem with my TV shows is that 3 of my favorite TV shows, all their new seasons debuted like right around the same time. So yeah, Better Call Saul, The Leftovers, and Fargo. Been watching those, keeping up with them. All have been excellent. And then I mentioned earlier, my wife and I, we've never seen Breaking Bad at all. So we started that a few weeks ago, and we have 3 episodes left. And I completely understand why a lot of people call that one of the best shows of all time. because it really is that good.
Okay.
And you're not even done yet.
Nope, not even done yet. I thought I was.
Yeah,
But that's a whole other story.
Ryan and I are what, 2 episodes in from
Yep.
my first time watch.
Yeah, stick with it.
I'm not quite hooked yet, but it's not terrible. Like, I don't hate myself after watching it, so it's good.
Yeah, that's always good when you watch a show and you don't hate yourself. That's a good sign.
At what point, TJ, if you could remember, or if you want to answer, like, did you get to the point where like the show is something special or something unique, something more than the average?
That's kind of hard to say, but thinking back on it, season 1 and 2 like are just a blur to me. Like I couldn't believe, like once we got to season 3, I think the first half, that was the only time in the whole series where I felt like it was slowing down a little bit. But even then, it wasn't bad by any means. But thinking back on just like 1 and 2, I mean, season 1's only 7 episodes, and then season 2's a full like 13, but just a total blur. And I mean, that's a really good sign. So we've never been bored or anything watching it. So you at least have to get through the first season. And if you don't like it by then there's probably no point in finishing it. But
yeah, I give every show 1 season, mainly because all the shows that I try to give to everyone to watch, the first season is always rough. Like between Buffy or Star Trek Voyager or
yeah.
the shows that I was trying to. So I always give a show at least 1 season, and then some of season 2. So I'm not worried yet.
The thing to know about Breaking Bad is it's always moving forward. There is almost no filler in that whole series. I mean, and that's one thing I love. The pilot episode, they show you like they flash ahead a bit, and you're like, oh my gosh, this must be the end of the season, and that flash forward ends up being the end of the first episode.
Yeah, that was my initial thought too. I was like, wow, so is this like the TV show Revenge? Like they're showing me like the mid-season finale or something? And I was like, nope, that's just the first episode.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I say give it the first season. If for some reason you don't like it by then, I'd say drop out. But I'd be really surprised if you don't like it.
Treat. I'm excited.
Yeah. And please watch Leftovers. I tell everyone to watch that show and nobody does.
It's now high up on my list. So.
It's on my list. I have no idea where on my list it is, but it's on there.
Now your recommendation, TJ, has put it up there. I think I might do it right after Iron Fist, but...
Okay, good. It's not a huge commitment. First and second seasons are only 10 episodes each, and this is the final third season. It's only going to be 8 episodes. It's so good.
Oh, it's on its final.
And I feel like I tell everyone to watch it, and no one listens.
It's on its final season right now.
Yeah, that's the final season.
Oh wow, 3 seasons is cool.
Yeah, and the first season was based off the book. There's only 1 book, and the first season ends like pretty much similar to how the book ends. So then season 2 was completely original. And season 2 is when it gets crazy. And it actually makes season 1 even better. So
nice. It's on my short list. I'll probably have it watched this year. So
well, you should, because if I can commit to 5 seasons of Breaking Bad in a matter of a couple weeks, I think you can do 3 seasons of Leftovers.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Well, cool. Look at there.
And then, do you guys watch Last Man on Earth? I don't know if we talked about that before or not.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to mention it because the show, like, it's one of those shows where, like, there will be a couple episodes. It's, like, every Sunday. And then after an episode, it's like, all right, come back in 3 weeks from now for the next episode. So Fox is really not giving that show the attention and the time that it deserves. But Will Forte, the front runner in the show, he's been tweeting about it a lot, and he said the episode that was on this week could potentially be like the final episode because of like ratings and such. So it's a really good show. Yeah, it's a really good show. It would be a shame if it ended now because you could tell they had a lot left, but we'll see.
Hopefully it works out for you. We don't want to pull another Dollhouse or Firefly or other Joss Whedon show.
Yeah,
Fox.
Yeah, Fox is. I don't like them lately. But that's a whole other discussion for a whole other week. Yep. All right, I think it is time to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for joining us again for this episode of the Brief Nerdity Podcast. If you have a moment and would like to support us, please go to the iTunes page for our podcast and give us a comment and a rating, any rating, preferably a good one, but it's up to you. Send us an email at briefnerdity@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Leave us a comment on the Facebook page. And remember to come back next week. Thanks to
and you know what?
joining us. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I actually have a request for all listeners. Feel free to write in with your favorite Jeff Bridges movie, whether it be Overboard or Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, Escape from LA. We'd love to hear what your favorite Jeff Bridges movie is.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Yes, right. Well, see, I mean, he's in San Francisco, so his brain is. It's just not quite. Yeah, it's just not quite working.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you again next week.
See you, everybody.
So long.